first video. It's the video for the group, the Brother in this group and beyond. I'm a bit nervous, first one. Hopefully my videos will get better as we progress, because videos are all new to me and I'm only using my iPad and a basic tripod to try and get the videos across to you. But anyway, today was just a little introduction about myself, Janet Carney. Some of you know me from Rainbow Stitches, which my daughter now runs. But just a little bit about what I want to give to you from the videos and what you want to gain from the video. So, first of all, I don't pretend to be a professional. I don't pretend to be an educator or know everything. It's just about techniques I've found, tips and advice I've come across over the years of embroidery and all the other little bits, and to have fun. I want it to be fun. I want us to get chatting to each other and talk to each other. Comment, please. You know, I'm not doing any lives at the moment, but in the comment boxes, ask questions, speak to each other. If you've got any other tips on the techniques we're sharing or anything like that, just chat away in the comments to us so we can all get to know each other and help each other. Right, so all the techniques and stuff will be done on my machine, which is, I don't know if you can see it, the Lumi there. But that's not to say that what I do can't be done on the smaller machines, because it can. It's all dependent on hoop size. The techniques can mostly be done in most machines. Most designs can be stitched in most machines, from the little one to the big top of the range ones, so long as you've got the hoop size for the project. So it's not about just having a big machine, and that's what creates. I get a number of people who say, well, what machine have you created that on? And as soon as you say the Luminaire, they're, oh, I can't do that. Of course you can. If you've got the hoop size for the project in question, you can do it on any embroidery machine. Yes, the bigger machines have lots of, I need to learn to sit still, don't I? I'm a fidget, I'm a known fidget, I'm sorry. The bigger machines have have lots of added extras, but hey ho, you can still, you know, I have this and I have my F480. And I create work on the 480 the same as I do the Luminaire. So it is just about, it's not just about the machine, it's more about the techniques and the projects, and we're going to cover different techniques, different projects, little bits, tips of advice, products, tools that I use, stabilizers that we use. I'll, you know, obviously what I use and what I've used over the years and built up, and I've got what my favourites are, but that's not necessarily to say that that's the be all and end all of. I think the sun's on my face a bit there. But can you, is it? I don't know. But it's not the be end and end all. But what I will say is, every design I stitch, every product I use, every fabric I use, anything, tool or anything that I use, I have paid for all of them. I do not test stitch, I do not strike stitch fabrics, I do not test products for people. I purchase what I think is useful to me, what I'm like, what I'm going to use, and I will give honest reviews on them. I do love a gadget, of course, we all do. I've brought plenty of gadgets over the years that are still sitting in the boxes, because by the time they've come I've forgot what they're for. So we will cover gadgets, we will cover different things. Designs, if it's a design done by me, I will put it in the files in the group for us so that you can use it. If it's one I've purchased, then I will give you the links and you can buy it. If a designer donates a design to the group for us to test, for us to do on a video, then you know, the designer's name will be mentioned. But I'm not here to just promote any businesses. I'm here to promote the products I promote are good service and a good product that I use, but they've never been given to me. That is one thing I want to make perfectly clear, because I don't want people thinking I'm here just to promote whatever business I've brought from. I'm not. I will give them a good review, and I will, like you say what the products are. So that's enough on that anyway. But anyway, it will be about the machine. We'll cover projects with the machine. We'll cover projects in the design centre. Now I know that will only be applicable to the limited few in the group who've got the design centre, but it'd be interesting to watch. We'll learn, we'll also look at the software again. The software I use is Embroidery, so I can only tell you what I know through Embroidery, but I have also recently downloaded Toolshed from Dime, because I brought a patch piecer software program from them, and Toolshed is a free basic editing, their free basic editing software that you purchase bits to. So I will start and look into that and maybe do some bits on that. It'll just depend on how things go. Today at the end, in a bit, I'm just going to show you my favourites, what I have next to my machine that I use on a regular basis, and like to, you know, potter about with, and what stabilisers I use and where I get them from, and perhaps why I use them. And also at the end of the video I'm going to do a little embroidery tip about foot height on your embroidery machines. I think nearly all Brother machines have the ability to alter the foot height. It doesn't regularly need doing, but we'll go into that later. So first of all, let's have a look. Let me get a little drink and we'll talk about threads. I tend to use the polyester threads. I use the Floriani range, if you can see that, which I get from Lord Sewing. They are my favourite brand of thread, they have a lovely sheen. I get very few breakages. I have heard other people say they get breakages with theirs. I don't know, but you'll see how I use them, and you'll see me use them over as time goes by. They're what I use. Now I do, and I'm not sure where I've put them, because I was going to show you those. And this is, I use a pre-wound bobbins, because, I've got some, I'll get the one out of my machine. Pre-wound bobbins. I get these from Embroidery for You off Doris. Quite a few of us know Doris, don't we? Get our stabilisers and things up there. These, I probably, since the first time I ordered them off Doris, I've never gone back and used anything else. So it's probably about 7 years now I've been using the pre-wound bobbins from Doris. That's what I use. My next is my needles. Now, I use that. Now I do have dyslexia, and I do struggle with pronunciation of things. I pronounce things totally different to other people, so I tend to just ignore me. I do use the Schweppes needles. It's upside down, isn't it? There you go. Well, anyway, so and I tend to use the 7511 or the 9014. I do also use the gold. I use the gold when I'm doing vinyl work mostly, but yeah, that's that. Any brand. I think the organ needles are also extremely popular, but I've just always used those. I don't think there's much difference between either brand. It's what you're happy with. So that's the needles. And a lot of questions people say, how often should you change your needle? Well, a lot will give you the answer you'll hear the sound. It has a different, a dull thud when your needle needs changing, but if you're going a bit deaf like I am now, hard of hearing, losing it, bit of everything really, you can miss that. So me now personally, I change my needle religiously every 2 bobbins. So every time I've used 2 of those pre-wound bobbins, completely emptied 2, I will change a needle. If you're doing work on vinyl, you do need to change your needle a little more often, but you should get used. I mean, one of the things you should do is get used to the sounds of your machine and pick up on that as you go along. So, tools. I'm going to go, I don't know about this. This is new to me, it's not even out of the box yet. It's the Eileen Roach's Embroidery Toolkit, Professional Results Made Easy by Dime. I've just got this. I don't know if it's any good yet. I've not used it, but it looks interesting. There's an angle finder, target rulers, centering rulers, adhesive centering rulers and target stickers. I don't know, maybe I'll find it useful, maybe I won't, but I'll probably review it as I go along. Right, things I use. So next to my machine, as you will see, I can't turn it, can you see? Yes, I don't know if that's very clear what I have, but I do. I'll come back up to me. Like you say, I've got to get used to the camera and working stuff. But anyway, I have a different array of tools next to my machine that are my go-tos. I have this sits by my machine. This is full of all my little nickies and knackies that I like to use, and I'm going to show you what I have in here probably. Those are the Stylus pens for the screen on the Luminaire. I tend not to use them, to be honest. I found that the mouse works better for me. But I have my purple thang, as they call it, which I use instead of my fingers, because once you put a needle through your finger on the bone, it hurts and you don't do it again. And that's that. I have a marker pen, heat away marker pen. I use that regular. I have this thing. This is a 1/4 inch ruler. Brilliant for when you're working in the hoop and you want to mark things and fold things down and do stuff that way. So I have that. Different marking tools that I use. Another one is my Sewline Glue Pen for use when I'm in the hoop, working in the hoop. I want to stick things down, edges down. When you're using that, it's fine to use. Yeah, it can and will gum up your needle eventually. All I say is when you're using it, wipe your needle down. Don't use it too often. This is not what this is really. It's old now. I probably need a new one. But I use it for cleaning out my machine. Oxo it's called. It's by Oxo. So I think it's for a computer. You can get that tip goes in and that. And I clean my machine out with that on a regular basis. I have these tools, folding tools, scorers to get a tight edge, a little measuring tool, pokey thing for holes. This did have a sponge on the end, but that's come off, so I'm probably going to have to get a new one. And one other thing that I use, I have another one of these as well, is a seam roller. Those roll, they use them a lot in quilting, but I use them for seams when I'm doing in the hoop bags because it really flattens down the seam when you're working. So those are my little gadgets there that I have. I'm going to go and sit and move this. Sorry that I'm moving you around. Well, it's easier for me now if I do hope the sun's not dazzling you too much there, but as you can see there is my little board there. It's an ironing board and a cutting board on one side, which I do have at the side of my machine with my scissors and everything on. And then from there, all of this is all at the side because I use it on a regular basis really. So let's have a look what we've got there. Going to move us back again. I'm not sure I should really be moving as much as I should, and you're getting to see bits of me that... So, scissors. I have, as you've seen there, I have several pairs of scissors. I have my Singer scissors. These are my vinyl scissors. Nice and sharp. And I use, because I have separate scissors for vinyl and fabric. These are my wide. These are quite comfy when trimming pliques and things. Westcott, they have. I like the big handle and the grip that gives me. Yeah. Then your usual, another favourite that I use is my double curve, which are brilliant for trimming in the hoop because this double curve helps you to rest in the hoop. And then the duckbill scissors for trimming as well. To be honest, I don't really use these as much as the double tip, double curve trims. I use those. These, just showing you really the things that you'll see me using on a daily basis. I then have my jewel of scissors. These are my fabric scissors. They're my Ernest Wright. Very expensive. A gift off my daughter a few years ago, and I love those. So again, those are that. This little gadget, you might ask, what's that for? Well, when I'm working with vinyl and I use the Filmoplast stabiliser, I put the vinyl on or the fabric and just use that. It really seals it down to the stickiness, really helps. Handy little tool to have. The dreaded seam ripper that we use probably more than anything else in our sewing rooms. There you go. Now this is probably another little thing that's new to some of you. And this is my anti-static bag. This is full of like little, I don't know if you can see it on my fingers there. Oh, you see it better on my nails, can't you? It's full of like a powder. And if your vinyl's sticky, just by rubbing that powder, just rubbing that bag over the vinyl, you'll see me do it in tutorials. It takes away the stickiness. So that's anti-static bag. That's one I use as well. I use quite a bit, I have. Then I have my little iron, just a little travel iron, which because I use to press on my little board there. I have this to cover and protect things. Yeah, got them on Amazon, I think. They're not expensive. Just protects your fabric when you're pressing or adding interfacing. I have these tools. I have a little mini iron, which I use a lot in when I'm doing a plique in the hoop, because you just need to press little tiny corners to seal them down or press them down. They're also good when you're doing the in the hoop bags with the wallet with the card holders in them, because they fold down each layer and you press it while it's in the hoop. That's quite a good one. And this, I think if you've watched any of my other videos you might have seen this. It's the same tool as that, but I brought some wood tool, burning tips to go on it, and those I use when I'm cutting out patches and other little bits like that. So There you go, tools, gadgets, frog tape for securing stuff down when I need to, starch. When I need to starch fabric, I use this one. I also use this for finished work. It was a little tip that somebody said once on a group. It's scentless, but when you spray it on, if you've got slight puckering, you spray this on and give it a little press, it flattens the puckering down. It really helps to ease the puckering out. It's quite a good thing to have. My 505 spray, good old spray, and this from IKEA, this one. Run it over your work, pick up your threads, run it over your table, pick up your threads, run it over the floor even. Believe me, I've gone round on my carpet with that and pulled up threads. And this, now this is a controversial one. I use it, you've got to be careful when you use it. So I use it on the back of my embroidery to tidy up all the loose threads. But if you press too hard, you will take the little knot that secures it, and you risk your embroidery becoming unthreaded. I love it. It keeps, when you, especially on patches where you're going to see the back, it's just nice to tidy it all up before you put the adhesive on the back. Controversial, a lot will say, oh no, don't use that. Yeah, use it, but use it carefully. That's my motto on that one. So that's my little main gadgets that I use. Now, stabilisers, because I want to be quick, because I do want to keep each video so that they're not over an hour. We don't want to be tied to the screen. Anyway, it's my first one. I may have to redo it, but we're going to talk stabilisers now. I have set ones that I use, and they're the only ones I use now, really. I tend, I'm happy with my selections, and I'm going to show you. So tearaway wise is this one. The only issue I have with this one is that is as wide as it goes. And as much as I speak to the company, ETC Supplies in Glasgow, they won't do it any bigger. It's my favourite. It's waffle tearaway. Let me get a piece close up to you. There you go. I love it. It's lovely to work with. It tears away nice. I've used it for years. Get it from ETC on a big roll. Rainbow Stitches did used to sell it. We probably will start selling it again by the 5 metres if you wanted to try it, but we've got to get more stock of it in. That's my tearaway. Now, obviously, like I said there, because that can't be big enough for my bigger hoops, I've had to adapt, and I now use the, I'm not sure, is it Vicelina? I don't know, but anyway, I use that tearaway, which is it's called Stitch and Tear by Vicelina, and that's just, oh, Buddy's just come in to see us. That's for my bigger hoops that I use. So that's my tearaways, just 2 tearaways. That's the only one. It's the only tearaway. No, telefib. I do have one more tearaway, which is the Gunfold Stiffy. I got this off Doris many years ago, and I've still got it. I very rarely use it, but it's an iron-on. It's a fusible. So if I'm using it, it's when I need to just give extra support. Say if it's a stretch fabric, a baby's vest or something, because it tears away, it irons on, and it'll just support where the stitches are. And that's what I use there. Now my cutaway, I do only use one cutaway. I'm trying to look where Buddy's gone. I think he's gone out now. Buddy's the little dog, the little cavalier that we have. Oh, he's here. He's just going to have to say hello to you. And then, come here, fella. Because you got to love our bud. This is our little Buddy. There you go. Say hello, Buddy. Yes, he's our little pup. He's just over 12 months old. And we've had a tough time with him. Very tough time with him. He's been very poorly. But she's a little darling. Now, back to the stabiliser is this Floriani Power Mesh it's now called. They've rebranded it not long ago. I get this from Lord's Sewing in 2 different lengths. Cutaway, only cutaway I use. I don't use any other. I like this. I like the results I get. That's my stabiliser. End of. Now I use sticky with vinyl. So I do use the Thermoplast from Vaselina. I don't know how you say it. Look, this and that, just you hoop it, or if you've got a sticky hoop, you put it on the back and that tears off and your project sticks to it. Obviously, as we go through videos, you'll see me using these, so I just want to say what I use from the beginning in case you want to, just so you know. Now, if I'm doing towels, I think I got this one from Doris as well, just for on the top of towels, the wash away, they're very thin, very thin, but that goes on the top of towels. The other wash away that I use, water soluble, is again Vaselina, and it's the Solufleece. It's just like a fabric, but it just washes away. That's the only wash away I've used. So far, I've not had to use any other. A lot of you will see me use my clear vinyl. So, which I hoop up, and let's see if I can, I cut them into pieces, and then there we are. Which I do hoop, key fobs in the hoop work a lot. I use that, it tears clear away. I do use an awful lot of clear vinyl as a stabiliser. That is that, and you can get that from Rainbow Stitches. And finally, one that you probably don't know an awful lot about. Very few people, when I mention I use this, have heard of it, but we shall see. This is Madeira. I use it primarily for patches, and it is a heat away. It is a heat away stabiliser. It's lovely to work with. If you're doing patches, your patch will just come clear away, and then if you press the back, if you need to, it just heats away. I do like this. This is a Madeira one. I think I'm going to try and get Philippa to stock this, because at Rainbow Stitches, but for now, this is my role and you're not having it. So that's my stabilisers, and that's everything that covers that. The only other thing that you'll see me use a lot of is Rainbow Stitches. Of course, I'm going to mention Rainbow Stitches white felt. Believe me, I use it on wall hangings. I use it on in the hoop bags as wadding. I use it instead of Thermoland now, really. It's cheap. It's a nice thickness. I like to use it. I do use it a lot. So if I'm doing quilt in the hoop quilt box, in the hoop bags, I will use the felt, as well as for crafty projects. That's what I use. I do hope I've not bored you too much. So I'm just going to have a drink, and we're going to talk about my tip of the day, of the week. Okay, your embroidery foot height. So, I'm a fidget, aren't I? How many of you have ever raised or lowered your embroidery foot height? A lot of you don't. A lot of you don't even know that it exists in your machine. But what happens with, I'm going to see if I can get up to the machine in a minute and tell you, but I'm going to explain it to you first. So when you get in the hoop work, so if you've got a piece of cotton and that's what you work with, that's fine. Because in machine embroidery, the foot should just glide across the top of your embroidery. It shouldn't drag across it, it shouldn't be too high, it shouldn't be too low, because you can raise it and you can lower it. But then you put a piece of felt for your wadding, you've suddenly got quite a thickness for them stitches too. And then you've got your other piece of fabric on the top. So you've got, you can end up with quite a thickness. And changing your foot height, learning in your machine settings where this foot height is, and just having a little look at it. Why do you change your foot height? But have you ever looked at flagging or your fabric bouncing? So as it's stitching, it's like it's bouncing, it's flagging, and you start getting thread breaks, and eventually you'll get a needle break. That's because there's not enough clearance between the fabric you're using and, I don't know what he's trying to pinch down there, but he's trying to pinch something. There's not enough space or not enough height between the foot and the fabric, or it's too close. If it's too low as well, you get dragging. So if it's too high, you get the bouncing, the flagging of the fabric, which gives you loose stitches, thread breaks, lots of other things. If it's too low, it will drag across your stitches, because although your fabric is flat there and the foot is gliding across it, once you start stitching, it's going to be raised, isn't it? Because your embroidery is slightly raised off the fabric, and the foot, as you stitch, will start and drag and ruin your stitching. And it's all to do with the height of your embroidery foot. Some people, you've embroidered all your life and you've never had to alter your embroidery foot height. You've never come across having to do it, you've never come across it, that's fine. But there's one of the problems. So if you think your fabric is bouncing and you're getting a lot of thread breaks, it's not always the tension, it's very rarely the tension. On these embroidery machines, you shouldn't really have to play, that is one thing you shouldn't have to play with, is the tension, especially the bobbin tension. You shouldn't really touch that. But I'm going to push up closer to the machine now and see if I can show you what I mean about the embroidery foot height. Now, as I say, I've got no fancy cameras, so I am having to adjust as I go. So let's see if you can see it. So in my settings here, I tend to use a mouse on my Luma. It's got a thing that plugs in, but I don't know if you can see it. If you go into your settings, can you see that? Is it close enough? Let's see if I can get a bit closer, but without going, there we go. It's probably back to front as well, isn't it? But anyway, if you go into your settings and you can, I've got the light turned off. Let's see where we can, I think it's 8, embroidery foot height. Can you see here? Or can you just see me? Maybe I should just move away. You can see my image. So there you go, embroidery foot height. Marked in black, that's the default setting, but you can, as you can see, you can take it down or you can take it up to alter it. It does make a difference. It's worth playing about, but always remember to take it back to the default before you change anything else. So if I put this, oh, sorry, I'm knocking the camera. If I put this in, let's see, can I get close enough? And I put the foot down. I don't know if you can see now. Got a pokey tool. If you can see that just with the stabiliser, the foot isn't quite, it's not touching the stabiliser, it's raised above it. If you look, I can get kind of there, yeah. Now take that up and put your thin piece of fabric on there, yeah, and as you can see again, it's still only floating across the top, which is how it should be, but once you've got your embroidery, it'll be slightly raised again. So think about, so bear that in mind, and you really, it's something you can't know until you start stitching and you think, oh, that fabric's flagging a bit, bouncing a bit, or it's dragging a bit, it needs to go lower or higher. So say you were working with organza, you would maybe need, it to go lower. Most of the time I have to go higher for my in the hoop with felts and things. So if you put the felt on there, and then you've got your fabric on the top there, put it down, you can see now it's gripping. It's gripping that. There's no space underneath. It's actually touching the fabric, which means it really is too low. It needs raising, because once you start stitching, you're going to have the stitches on top of that, and it's going to bounce, and it will cause issues. It'll cause thread breaking and things like that. So, you know, it's just worth having a little look and a little play with your results when you're getting thread breaks, and think, is it because is my fabric bouncing in the hoop? Is it dragging? Does my foot need to go higher or lower? That's just my little tip for you to go off and have a little look at your machines and see if you've got the ability to raise that foot height like I did in your settings. You know, it's there for a reason. A lot of people say, oh no, I don't touch, I shouldn't need to touch that. Well, why not? Why shouldn't you need to touch it? Why would Brother put these settings in your machine if you don't need to use them? They're there for a reason. They're there to be used, and they're there for you to learn your machine. So I do hope that little tip about raising your foot height has helped some of you a little bit. As you can see in this room at the moment for me, I'm waffling on now. This is my temporary sewing room, because my actual sewing room is upstairs in the attic, and I don't like it. I'm not happy up there at all. It's too hot, it's too sloping roofed, I bang my head left, right and centre. This is my daughter's model room, and I'm in here temporarily while my wonderful husband builds me an extension on the side of the house, which will be my sewing room. Yay! God knows when though, because he works at a speed to suit himself. So, I hope I haven't gone too fast. I hope I haven't waffled too much. I hope you've understood what I've said. Please be kind to me. This is one of the first videos I've ever done like this. I'm learning, and I will learn as I go. But tell me, Janet, you're speaking too fast. Janet, you're making me dizzy by moving that camera. I'm trying not to move the camera, but I'm also, as you can see, I'm a fiddly person. I'll fiddle with my hair, I'll fiddle. So just be nice to me. I am dyslexic, so I do struggle with pronunciations of certain products. Feel free to correct me. It won't make any difference. I'll still carry on saying it because that's what my mind reads a product as, a name as, or this as, or that as. So I'm in here temporarily with strict instructions not to put anything on the walls, so I can't have any shelves, I can't have anything really. It's a bit dull, but you know, one day I'll have my own sewing room back. But for now, that's the end of today's video of Technique Thursday. So every Thursday, unless I'm on holiday or there is something on, we will do a little video, a little short video, and get to know each other. Please do comment in the comment boxes. Please do chat. Please do ask about anything you've seen on the video that I've not been clear with. I will probably maybe try and get a clearer video close-up of how that foot, the foot type for you, if it's not been clear enough. But yeah, so for now I'm going to say goodbye. I hope you found my talk interesting. Next Thursday we're going to start, and I'm going to start off with appliques. Do put in the comments any techniques you would like a video of, any projects you may like a video of, and we will see what we can work through and get things going, and see who we can help, and help each other and be friendly and chat with each other in the comments. So yeah, just say hello, even if you just want to give me a wave and say, yeah, hi Jan, I've watched it, we're here. The videos will all have, what I'm going to do with the videos as they go onto the page is I'll do them like hashtag Technique Thursday, then next to it what the video. So this will be hashtag Technique Thursday introduction. So if you want to refine the video, that's what you can type that in on the search bar and go hashtag Technique Thursday introduction, and it should take you to this video. I will put them all in the files as well and try and get them all into the files listed under the different things. But yeah, in the comments, any tutorials you want me to try and do, any tips or advice you want me to give, any products that I've got that you want me to show you more of, just say what you want to gain from, because this Technique Thursday is not about me preaching to you, it's about you telling me what I can help you with. I'm no expert, I'm no professional, I'm a hobbyist. I just love machine embroidery. I have done for some 30 odd years. Started off with a Janome machine. I used to do applique by hand and different things like that, and I found my first brother machine. Moved from Janome to my first brother machine 7 years ago. I think it's 7 years ago. And over the years, I have a little book where I've picked up tips and advice off lots of other people. So I will say, if I can, where information comes from, and as best I can, and what I've learned and what I've picked up, I'm just going to share it all with you. And I'm hoping you're going to share our tips. So thank you very much for watching, and have a wonderful afternoon. Have a great weekend, and we will chat in the comments. Thank you very much for your time.